All right. How's it going?
It is going very well. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So, tell me about yourself. What's your name? Where do you hang out when you're not doing crypto? And what do you do?
Got it. My name is Greg. I'm from the USA. I'm an engineer. So when I'm not doing crypto, I'm working a day job, which is kind of the reason that I got into crypto. Uh,
Right.
so I started looking at how much money I'm making just from my salary and how much it's going to take to retire, especially living a comfortable kind of life. And the numbers didn't match up. So I'm like, I got to do something to try to get a little bit more income, let my money work for me for a change. And I was doing pretty good on just a salary, but like I said, just living day to day is one thing, but saving for retirement is a totally other story. And you kind of got
Right.
to be intentional about that stuff. And so maybe I'm starting a little late, but it's time to get intentional. And that's why I found you, man. So,
Yeah. So how did you first get into crypto? Like, how did you found out about it again? Like, what was
oh,
your journey before you found, Next Level DeFi and
got
myself?
it. Got it. So it was like 2009. I started a new job, and my coworkers started telling me about this weird thing called Bitcoin. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. And I just had a new job. My first kid was born, and I didn't have time to do any of that. And like I said, a couple years later, got the realization that I got to do something a little different. And that crypto thing sounded kind of cool. Let me get into that. Through a network, I got exposed to your class and said, hey, if you want to do some passive income dealing with crypto,
Right.
take this class or sign up. And I saw your sales pitch and I was like, yeah, that kind of works for me. Some of the other sales pitches were things like get email lists and you have to do all this effort and stuff like that. It's like, I
Right.
don't have time for that. But with this, I can learn it at my own pace. I don't have to call a lot of people. I don't have to call anyone. I have to do any of that marketing stuff. I can just put the money in and let it do its thing. And so that's what was really attractive to me about it, is that it didn't seem like a huge investment in time of like starting a whole other business or anything like
Right. So basically, you're just looking at some coins, but what made you think when you're going through like your crypto journey that you need some help, like figuring this DeFi stuff out? Was there like a specific moment when you decided to join my program?
that. Yes. So when I was starting to do crypto, it was basically just an investment, kind of like stocks or bonds or something like that. But then when I learned about your class, I realized that there was more that the crypto could do. Like I could actually get the coins to start making money for me besides their change in value. And so that was really attractive because I'm going to go invest this money into crypto anyway. And that this is like investment on top of investment.
Right.
So what turned me onto it was just learning about it. I had no idea what DeFi was before. I had no idea how it worked or even that there was such a thing. Or but as soon as you explained the system to me, I was like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. That'll work. So that was it.
Yeah. So you basically had a crypto portfolio, but what were you doing mostly with it? Were you like holding, trading, or like what was your strategy?
It was just holding. It was just buy and hold,
Holding,
buy and hold. Yep.
buy and pray, right? Hold and pray strategy.
Yeah, entirely, and it was all Bitcoin and Ethereum, and it was just
Oh,
like every
okay.
once in a while, just buy a couple more coins, buy a couple more coins, and whatnot. But it was not a whole lot, but it was still just kind of accumulating. Like whenever I thought about it, it's like, oh yeah, maybe I should buy a couple coins or whatever.
So you haven't tried to make passive income with your holdings before joining Next Level DeFi?
That's correct.
You are okay,
Yep.
cool.
Yeah.
So, and you didn't try to figure out on your own or anything like that? Because I know some people try it on their own and
Yeah.
using public resources.
Right. I had no clue that you
Okay.
could do something like that. And so, like I said, when it was Caleb Jones's class, or Caleb Jones said, "Hey, I know this guy named Vadim. Let's do a pitch." And it was like a 1 or 2 hour kind of thing where you went
Yeah.
through, "Here's what you do." And I said, "Okay, that sounds really neat." So that's, you know, had I known about it beforehand, I would have said, "Oh, that's too complicated."
Right.
And knowing that you're there to explain it and with the class and everything, that was like, okay, let's give this a try. So,
Okay. So when you joined the program, what
mhm.
were you hoping to accomplish? Like, what was the big goal with Next Level DeFi?
It was really more exploration than anything else.
Mm.
It was like, what can I do with this? I didn't expect that it was going to be huge, and it still isn't because I'm still kind of dabbing my toe into the pools
Right.
and thinking, all right, this is going to be an extra source of income. It wasn't going to be
Okay.
my main source of income. I never thought about it that way. I still don't think that it will be because I'm not going to invest that much, or whatever I do invest, there's going to be other sources of income. But
Right.
it seems like a pretty good way, and the way that you sell the course or the way that you explain it, it can be safe. You can be really safe if you want, like you're saying
Yeah.
with stable coins
The
and
stable coins, yeah, that's like a bank account replacement, basically.
exactly, exactly. And that's
Like,
probably a really good way to explain it, to be honest, because I'm looking for, on one hand, a safe investment. The majority of the money is going to be like a bank account or a money market or something like that. Something that I can put my someplace that I can put my money that I know it's going to grow and that I know it's not going to lose any value.
right.
And that's exactly what you offer. And so I
Yeah.
think, in terms of like, what am I hoping to accomplish? It's a good place that I can put money, invest it, and have it grow.
Okay. So
Better than a
basically,
bank account, better than a CD.
yeah. Well, yeah, that's pretty low bar to beat. I mean, you know,
Well,
with
then
with what
no
they're paying.
problem, right?
All right.
Cool.
So
Mhm.
yeah, so which part of the Next Level DeFi program like really clicked for you? Was there a moment when you thought like, oh, now I get it? You know, the whole point of this endeavor?
There's two. One of them was going through the classes, which were really well done. I really like how you say, click here, click this, do that, whatever. And I kept watching the videos again and again. It's like, all right, now I got the hang of it. Um, in my line of business, which is engineering, if you do a kind of job 3 times, you finally get the hang of it. And
Right.
so this was, I went through the classes like 3 times or whatever. I said, all right, now I got the hang of it. So that was the first thing that kind of clicked with me, that said that this is really good. The second one is actually you, Vadim. It's that I'm getting the support from you, the level of how fast you respond on the Telegram chat is just phenomenal. It really puts any other kind of customer service to shame. Like, people can write at all times of day, all times of night, and you and your team respond like that. It's like,
Yeah,
it's
we
almost like
try.
yeah, I've got this on my screen and I don't know what's happening here. And they take a screenshot and you're like, oh yeah, click here at any time of day. And you do that. And where else are you going to get that kind of customer support? So um, when I found that, it's like you really get involved. I'm like, this guy cares.
I do.
So
I do. I
yeah,
do care.
no, it shows.
Unlike those anonymous corporations that
Hmm.
outsource it God knows where, and then
Yep.
they get hacked, and well, you saw what happened
Yeah.
with Coinbase.
Yes, I
You
did
know?
see that.
And like,
But
I'm like, yeah, but hopefully other will follow my example and provide
mhm,
the same level of customer
mhm.
support, although I'm not holding my breath, but at least this I can control. This I
Right.
can do, you know?
So that's what really clicked for me, is that the level of support, the level of care really built a level of trust. And so, it's the Wild West out in crypto land, and
Yeah.
got to
You're
have a
right.
guide and got to have someone you can trust. And, the way that you put things together, I trust you, man.
Yeah,
That's it.
thanks. I try to earn that trust and
Yeah.
exceed the expectations of my students, which is always a goal of mine. It's like, oh, I expected this, but not that. I'm like, great, I've done my job. So
No,
yeah,
that's
so
it.
let's let's
Yeah.
let's talk about results. I mean,
Okay.
numbers if you're comfortable sharing, and if not numbers, then how this changed your relationship with crypto. Like, what's different now than from before when you were just holding and kind of
Got it.
praying it goes up.
So I'm gonna jump ahead in your list of questions and say, like, okay, what would I have done differently? I think I would have started smaller. Like, I started with about $1,000 investing, and because of certain mistakes that I made here and there, that went down to 500, and now it's like up to almost 700. After I'm like, oh, this is how you do it instead. This is when
Right.
you pay attention to the pools, and so that's building back up, and that's great. Now that, like I said, now that I've done it a couple of times and now that I understand what I'm doing,
Hey, you gotta
um,
put the reps in, right? That's how it
exactly,
goes.
exactly.
Like anything.
And when I began, I figured, okay, 1,000, I'm willing to part ways with that as part of the learning curve. But I think that I could have learned just as much risking just 100 or $200 because
Yeah.
it all scales. And if I'm looking for experience and looking for just lessons learned, I could have done it a little bit cheaper just by the risk. But I have every confidence that I'll get it back. I just have to take the funds and like and put them in, and that's I
Yeah.
haven't done
Well,
that yet because I've still got a day job and I've got some other things that are taking my attention too.
yeah, no worries. Like you, as long as you're gaining the skill, eventually that
Yeah,
skill is gonna translate to
yep,
monetary gain. That's how it's worked for me. So
exactly.
has this how this changed your crypto plans for the next year or two, like this new skill set that you got now?
This is going to be my main way of getting income from crypto. So the other crypto investment that I'm doing is again just buying coins and holding on to them and
Right.
using them for value. But I'm gonna take a bunch like already I've got the idea of like getting a bunch of them and like sticking them in the pools and then having them grow. So in terms of like the actual investment and the actual income is going to come from the pools.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, the advice about the starting, we already kind of talked about that.
Mhm.
So what you enjoyed the most about your Next Level DeFi experience? Was it the course, the community? I mean, you talked about support a little bit, or maybe
Yep.
something else.
It's a community.
Yeah.
And like I said, just getting to meet other people and see where they're at and the level. So um, the Telegram channel is probably the number one go-to. It's like I can see what people are doing. I can learn from the questions that they've asked, and I'm like, oh, okay, that looks pretty cool. And you also post updates and X postings from Stella Swaps. I'm like, all right, that looks like a good opportunity here. Let me take a look at this. I'll look at that. So I keep up on the news through that Telegram channel, and so I go to that like daily or a couple times a day.
Mm. I mean, I try to minimize, the news because I try to keep it as a community and kind of support channel.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'll probably post more news when they come in because in crypto there's news every day, hundreds of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, I
You
don't
don't
I don't
want to
want to
get
like distract people. I only post things that are like important and relevant to Stella Swap or you guys.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So for like someone who's just looking to get into DeFi yield farming, what's like one mistake you'd tell them to avoid at all costs?
At all costs, don't do it on your own because the stuff really is it's big. It can be confusing, and like if you look at it all at once, it's like this huge big map. Like where do I even start? And so that's where your course comes in. It tells you exactly where to start from click here and get your money into Coinbase or Binance or whatever and get it onto Stella Swap. Like every little step of the way, it's like you're there. And that's probably the best lesson I can offer up is don't do it on your own.
Yeah, I wish
Well,
listened to that advice when I started out, but unfortunately there
mm,
was nothing like my course
right.
program, back then. So, and then most times people tell you online, they probably try to scam you, you
Yeah.
know, as
Oh
as you
God, yeah.
saw, like scammers galore, so it's like it's tough to know who to trust,
Mhm.
online because it's just scammers and scammers and scammers, and then that makes my job, I guess, a little hard breaking through the
Right.
scam barrier, but it's okay. I'm learning it.
Mhm.
So what's like your best practical tip for someone who wants to generate passive income in DeFi, but is feeling overwhelmed with all the like plethora of choices out there,
I kind of said it. It's just sign
Yeah,
up with
just
you and your class. The best thing I think is your target market. You said that you're looking for people who don't have a lot of crypto experience, who are looking to
right.
find other avenues for generating income. Now, if you're a crypto expert, I don't
Yeah,
know where you're starting,
that's
so that maybe your class isn't a good fit for someone who's already a crypto expert. But if you're trying to get into it, uh, it's a great place to start.
Yeah, I mean, crypto experts, everybody's catering to those people online for some
Mhm.
reason. Even though ironically, they're the ones who need it the least. So I don't
Yeah.
understand why they try to educate those people. They're already educated themselves. Like they're good. It's like some people are telling me, "Oh, your course is so easy." I'm like, "Yeah, because you're an expert already. Like you're not my customer. Why are you
Right.
here again?" But then again, like somebody like Franco, he's a trader, crypto trader. The guy's on the same level as me, but he never even heard about concentrated liquidity mining, you know? So see, for him, that course was great because he was like, man, I know how to trade. I know how to do like all this advanced stuff, reading charts and
Mhm.
whatnot. But I never even thought about having some passive income from my positions. And I was like, okay. Yeah, it was a good say. Yeah, I guess there is like an exception to the
Okay.
expert thing. Like some traders, they just don't do liquidity mining. They don't do passive income
Okay.
generating. Because they just like you said, they just buy and hold and sell and then get into stable
Okay.
coins in the bear market.
Yep.
But anyway, well, it was great. I mean, but if people want to connect with you or follow your crypto journey, where can they find you online? I don't know if you want to pitch your
Telegram channel. Find me
Telegram
in the
channel.
Telegram channel. Yep.
Okay, yeah,
There you
sounds
go.
good, man. And
Thanks.
I guess one last question.
Okay.
Was there anything valuable you got from the program that you weren't expecting? Like something surprising?
Oh gosh. Yeah, this question's a surprise.
No, I mean it's if there was nothing, if you kind of got what you expected, that's fine too.
Well,
That's a valid answer.
here's the thing, Vadim. Like, I kind of went into it without expectations.
Okay.
It was more like, let's check this out. Let's see what there is to see. And so, with that kind of mindset, either everything's a surprise or nothing's a surprise because I'm
Right.
expecting to be surprised.
Yeah.
So, all in all, I think it was all a good experience. I don't think I've had a bad experience at all.
Okay.
And
Great.
there are plenty that could be, like you could get
Oh,
scammed or whatever.
yeah.
And you and I even had an exchange that where
Yeah.
I posted a help thing on Stella Swap's Discord channel, and then
Yeah. I
people
remember
came
that.
out of the woodwork and said, "Hey, I can help you with this," or "I'm Stella Swap," and I said,
No,
"Okay, this
no,
looks
no,
kind of fishy." And then I asked you about it. I was like, "This looks weird," and you're like, "No, that is not
no,
Stella Swap.
no.
That's a scammer. Ignore it.
Yeah.
Go away." And so, that could have ended very badly, but
Yeah, well, it did for one
I
of the
had,
students. Remember
yeah,
that guy? Like, because he
yep,
didn't ask us, which I understand. You have VIP
mhm,
support
mhm,
24/7 available to you, a team, me and Sasha. Like, come on, guy, you just have to type into the app. Like, it's,
exactly,
but
exactly,
like within 5 minutes you get an answer. It's not like there's a queue of tickets or whatnot.
yep,
Like, we see it. But listen, it is what it is. He learned
yep.
the hard way. Now he knows better. Mm-hmm.
But because I knew that, I didn't have a bad experience. I had you backing me up, and it's just such a difference in going into something like this without knowing what you're doing, but knowing that I've got a team that's backing me up. That is really
Awesome.
comforting, and that has allowed me to really be brave about checking stuff out and exploring and learning and growing and stuff. So anyway, thanks for that.
Yeah. You're very welcome. I mean, that's the kind of environment we want to foster so that people are not afraid to experiment because they know anytime they have a question or they're not sure, they're scared, they can come on the channel, they can ask us, and
Hmm.
we'll tell them exactly what to do, what not to do, and the
For
best
sure.
tips for doing it. And then they're like, okay, now I'm brave enough. I'm gonna try these things. And plus,
Yeah.
they can try with small amounts of money, so there's no risk. You can just experiment. If it works, great. It doesn't, you lost a couple of bucks. I mean, big deal. Cup of coffee.
Exactly.
Not like, oh no, I'll be on the street. So last question. For somebody who saw my webinar, who saw my free workshop, who, checked out all my stuff and they're still on the fence, like they're still deciding, is it
Okay.
for me, is it not for me? Like what would be your advice and recommendation to those people?
You'd have to see what your comfort level is with learning new things
Right.
because there is a learning curve. Um, Not only is there a learning curve, I'm also going to make a new phrase. There's also a comfort curve.
Yeah.
So, like when you have to be brave enough and willing enough to try something new. And uh, if that matches your personality, definitely go for it. It's worth it. If not for anything else, just actually learning something new about what's out there. But if you decide that you don't have the time, or you don't want to actually spend the effort to learn, then find something else. But for sure, this expect to put in a little bit of time into this. Not a whole lot, but like maybe I think the whole class took me like maybe 8 hours of actually sitting down and going through everything. And I did it slow just
Right.
to make sure that I knew everything. So make sure that you got the time to invest and
Yeah.
that you're willing to do it. So that would be my piece of advice for someone who's sitting on the fence.
Well, awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Greg, for sitting down and giving your feedback to myself and prospective students about this
You got
program
it.
because many people trust people and many people are apprehensive, because it's crypto, it's decentralized
For sure.
finance. It sounds very complicated and techy, even though I made my course super easy to follow. It's
Yes.
not techie at all. I even included like a free glossary for those people that, don't understand some terms. I try to make it very beginner friendly, but still, it's very helpful to have this kind of sessions, with experienced students such as yourself, giving
Okay.
their real, unfiltered feedback about my program, and I learned things as well. So thank you
Cool.
very much, and I'll see you in the community.
You got
Thanks a
it.
lot.
Thanks, Vadim. Thanks for everything you did.
Take care.
You got it. Bye.